tell you that I don't know how to open that door, you might be thinking that I must be crazy. That's just a door. But how about we look at this picture? Can anyone in this classroom tell me how to open this door? Or now let's have a vote. People who think that you should push it, please raise your hand. Well, there's only one people. People who think that you should pull it, please raise your hand. Yeah, most people will think that you have to pull it. However, there's this sign on it. You have to push the door. That sign is like I write the word red and the color green. It only makes people feel confused and highlight the absence of a good design. So now, speaking of design, does designer make the sign? Yes, they do. So what do designers do? Do they just make pretty things like drawings, illustration, or they just make your clothes, decorate your house? Yeah, that's true. That's design. But that's not what design is all about. Design is not about how it looks like and feels like. It's about how it works. Doors should be designed to be so obvious that when people look at it, you should know that you're going to push it, pull it, or turn the knob to open it. That's how things should be worked. So, you may encounter this kind of embarrassment a lot of times in your daily life. You may kick the door, you may then push it in order to open it. Now let's talk about how things interact with people. So how do things interact with people? Why do we know that we could sit on a chair without putting a label on it? We know that we're going to put our butt on it. So there's this touch points. So first is affordance. So look at this coffee mug. You know what you should do. You put your hand on the handle and there's a place for you to put the liquid. So affordance are hints that are embedded in the object. So affordance are hints that are embedded in the object. When you see it, you definitely know how to use it. You don't have instruction. You don't have to teach. There's no instruction for you to know how to use the coffee mug. So then let's talk about signifiers. So look at this picture back. This push signs that we put on it is called signifiers. It tells you how to interact with this affordance. So there's a lot of cool affordance in your daily life, such as the store. You don't have to have a signifier in order to know how to use the door. That's a poor affordance. But a lot of times there's also some good affordance, like you know how to open your cell phone. You don't have to be thinking about it consciously. Anything that requires you to think more than 1 second is a bad affordance, and it also needs a signifier to tell you. Now let's go back to the third touch point. It's called contrast. So to put it for example, like there's the carrot and the stick method in the behavior training. You will give a dog a reward when it did some specific behavior, like it did a really great job and you're giving it a meat. But now the dog will know that if he do a great thing, then you're going to reward it. This behavior master is the same for us people and also computers. So we put a lot of contrast in the workflow for people who use the products to do what we want. For example, when you wanted to post an Instagram story, you're going to open Instagram, perhaps you're going to choose a filter and then take a picture. You're going to type some text on it and then you're sending it out. That's a particular workflow that designers will want you to follow. And with this contrast, people will know what they should do. Then there's mappings. See this dashboard? As I said, I don't know how to fly an airplane, so this is way too complicated for me, and even for all of you. It's also really complicated for pilots at the first time. When they see it, they also don't know how to use it. But after training for like several months, they eventually know how to use the dashboard and to fly an airplane without crashing it. So these pilots create the sequences of workflow for them to use. There's a specific patterns for them in order to face different scenarios. So this is the same as when, for example, we wanted to buy buy a mouse, buy a keyboard on Shopee. So we will go on to the website, type it, and find it. Because we repeat this, like I go on, type, and buy, and go on, type, and buy. We repeat this kind of things again and again and again. This becomes a mapping for us. We could immediately know what to do. The user experience this kind of mapping also by the website designs. There's, last but not least, there's feedback. So remember playing like mahjong with your friends or pokers. You have to watch, you try to observe your opponents, what they're going to do next in order to make a decision for the card that you choose. So that's cool. So what you're doing now is to acquire the information from opponents and make the best decision out of it. The best decision that you make is the feedback. Like in digital products, the screens communicate with us. The screen also gives us the feedback. Then now, after we talk about how things interact with us, how about how we interact with things? Like, how do we know that we're going to sit down? Why will we know that we're going to stand up or open the door? So there's this. So whenever you see a website, an app, you're going to form this cycle in your mind. You're going to know what you're going to do next and then perform it. So let's make an example. So now if the room is super dark and I can't read my book, so I'm going to form a goal. I wanted to read the book, but the room is too dark for me. Then there's the intention for me to act. I see that there's a light switch right in front of the classroom. So perhaps turning on the light will allow me to read the book. Then in my mind, I'm going to plan a sequence of action. I'm going to stand up from my chair, walk to the front of the classroom, and then turn on the light. So after I plan it in my head, I'm going to really do it. This is called the execution of the action sequence. I actually stand up from my chair. I really open up the lights. Now the light is on. So I can see that the light is on now. So based on the light is on, perhaps I'm now able to read the book. So then I'm going to evaluate this action sequence that I've done. So if it's positive, it means that the light is definitely on and I can read the book. I don't have to perform this action cycle again. But if the evaluation is negative, perhaps the light is not on, so I'll have to reform the cycle, perhaps changing a goal or do it again and again. So a well-designed product allows people to make this action cycle one time at a time. They just simply make the action cycle and then they get the feedback that they want. So remember the store. You now may be thinking that after you see the push sign, you might be thinking that, oh, I should have pushed it. I never should pull it at the beginning. But it was not your fault though. It was the designer's fault. The designer shouldn't have made the doors be able to pull it. So self-blend is a really common outcome of a bad design. So next time, to see whether the design is bad, you'll have a hard time using it. So thank you for your listening. Yeah.
So can we start with any questions or comments? So anyone? Especially those of you who haven't spoken yet.
Yeah, so thank you, Nina, for sharing such insightful information on these like daily designs. And I'm just very curious, like how do you start noticing these, let's say, special designs or creations of these designers? Is it because of your professional background or is it because of your interest?
Because I took a course that's called Human-Computer Interaction this year, and there's a book that it's like the title of the book is like the same title of my speech, is the design of everyday things. So after I read that book, I got a lot of like I don't know reflection or knowledge. So I decided to get more into it. Yeah,
Okay, thank you.
great.
So I think you are the master of design. So every time when I get into this class, I always feel very confusing about the design of the front door. So can you share about how you did it?
So that door, I think that door is nice. You just know you don't have to turn the knob and open it.
But how about the handle?
Where?
The handle on the right.
Oh, I never used the handle. That's your fault. Maybe like I don't know. But you also have to turn it and push it. So it's not that bad. It's not like that door. That door is terrible. Yeah.
Any others?
Yeah.
Yeah, so thank you for sharing with us your perspective on design. So do you agree that intuitive design is the best design?
Intuitive design. Yeah, sure. People should like know what to do right away. So you should design based on how people will act. That's intuitive. Yeah. So I think that's the best design. Yeah.
So could you give us maybe one example of a really good design which we can find in daily life?
A really good design. Let me think. Really good. Like the closed path like here. Here like there's like the red when you approach it, it becomes red. So you know that if you touch it, there's like the red is like a warning to people. So when you go there, you see, oh, there's red. So if I click it, the tab will be closed. So you're not using it. I think that's like a really good design in the evaluation of computers. Yeah.
Do you have any opinions to the bad design in NCCU?
Bad designs in ICT. There's everywhere. There's no elevator in this building. That's so bad for like people who are disabled. So I think like NCCU could put more effort in design, like since they have like the design program for masters. They could do much better than this. Yeah. Yay.
Do you think this chair is a good design? It seems like there are no left-handed in Taiwan.
Yeah. guess there's like some chairs, some left-handed
Yeah.
people, but there's no so I think, but there's no enough left-handed people. So perhaps like considering in the economy side, you don't want to make that much money and to invest in the left-handed people. So
Okay.
that's not the side.
Good. So any others? Great. So thank you very much.